My beloved child, allow me to invite you to pause for one more breath. My dear one, not so that you may escape reality, nor so that you may forget what you are carrying, but so that you may truly be here, fully present, awake, and open-hearted. There are moments when I do not need you to do anything at all. I only need you to listen. What I am about to say is not a passing comfort, but a truth that has been quietly taking shape. The days you walked through shadow, the nights you silently battled your own weariness, the questions that seemed to have no answers, none of these were the end. They are closing now, like a chapter that has fulfilled its purpose. Before you, a new door is beginning to open, not loudly, but unmistakably real, and behind it lies the reward prepared for the faithfulness you have guarded throughout this long journey. I know there were times you felt as though you were moving too slowly, even doubting whether you were moving forward at all. You compared your steps with those of others and wondered why your path curved, why the things you prayed for arrived so late. But my beloved, there are blessings that can only be entrusted to those who are patient enough to wait for the right season. What you call delay, I call preparation. I have used every challenge to form a firm foundation within you, not a foundation of achievement, but of identity. Because of this, when blessing comes, it will not overwhelm or mislead you. Instead, it will steady you, widen your heart, and deepen your humility and love. You have called out to me many times, sometimes with clear prayers, sometimes only with a quiet sigh in the silence. And I have listened every single time. Not one of your cries has fallen into emptiness. Some I answered immediately, others I held for the appointed moment, not because I was slow, but because I am faithful. The bond between you and me does not rest on fleeting emotions. It is woven from the truth that you belong to me, and I do not forget you for even a moment. Even when you felt at your weakest, when your will felt thin, when hope seemed no more than a small flicker, I was there, quietly sustaining you so that the flame would not go out. I remember the days you stood at a crossroads and were tempted to choose the easier way. You had reasons to give up. The exhaustion was real. The disappointment was real. And the fear was real as well. Yet you chose differently, not because you were stronger than others, but because you trusted that the path I was leading you on had meaning, even when you could not yet see the full picture. That choice, repeated through ordinary days, shaped a resilient faith. You did not need loud victories to prove it. Your quiet perseverance has spoken for itself. Now, you are drawing near to a place of peace, not a place without challenges, but a place where challenges no longer define you. There, you will learn to walk with a new rhythm, lighter, deeper, and more authentic. You will discover that peace is not the reward of those who avoid hardship, but the gift given to those who pass through hardship without losing their heart. Your relationships will be renewed not by making people perfect, but through sincerity, forgiveness, and the ability to be fully present. You and those you love will find fullness not only in material things, but in the settled dwelling of the soul. I will open a new vision for you, not so that you may run faster, but so that you may see more clearly. New goals will be set to guide you toward where you are called to be, not merely where you think you should go. You will sense a sacred longing rising within you, quiet, yet persistent, drawing you to live with purpose, to work with joy, and to love with freedom. The success I am preparing for you is not measured by outcomes alone, but by the harmony between what you do and who you are becoming. Trust that what lies ahead does not erase your past, but gives that past a new meaning. Every drop of sweat, every tear, every time you rose again after stumbling, all of it will become fertile ground for the harvest now approaching. When you look back, you will no longer ask, "Why did I have to walk this road?" but will quietly say, "Thank you for helping me not give up." I will walk with you in this new season, as I did in the old, without leaving, without changing, without growing weary. So, my beloved child, move forward with a steadfast heart. Do not let old fears determine new choices. Do not allow the noise around you to drown out the gentle call within you. Open your hands to receive. Open your heart to love. And open your eyes to see the good that is beginning to bloom. Blessing is no longer far away. It is drawing very near, near enough for you to touch by faith, near enough for you to enter through obedience, and real enough for you to live fully in the joy of being made new. Top of form, my beloved child. Let your heart settle for a moment and sense my gentle yet steady presence. I am not standing at a distance watching you struggle through these changes. I am very near, right in the midst of the quiet transitions that you and your family are walking through. Old habits that once took root in your life, negative patterns of thinking that weighed on your mind for so long, do not simply disappear because you wish them away. I know this, but you are not entering this process alone. I am sustaining you each day through every small decision. Every moment you choose to pause instead of repeating the old path. Each time you turn away, even gently, from what harms you. I am there steadying you so you do not fall, and covering your family as this change unfolds. You may not realize it, but what I am doing is not merely surface repair. I am working with you to dismantle unseen chains at their roots, misguided beliefs you carried from the past, inner words that wounded you, bitter and angry emotions you once used to protect yourself. They may have helped you survive, but they are no longer necessary. I do not remove them through force or coercion. I invite you to let go. Each time you choose forgiveness over resentment, honesty over hiding, hope over despair, another link is released, and you will be surprised to find yourself lighter, breathing more deeply, and living more truthfully with yourself. When you allow yourself to sink into the living water of my spirit, transformation no longer feels like a heavy effort. It becomes a flow. You do not have to strive to become someone else. You are being restored to who I created you to be. That water washes away stains you no longer wish to carry, soothes wounds that were never named, and refreshes the dry places within your soul. This change is not loud, but it is deep. It enters your eyes, your voice, the way you show up within your family and among those around you. You do not need to explain much. Your life itself will speak. There will come a time when even those who once doubted you, who resisted you, will pause to observe. They will see something different, not perfection, but peace. They will see in you a joy that does not depend on circumstances, a steadiness no longer easily shaken by the words or attitudes of others. Even within your family, where old wounds once piled up, they will sense a new atmosphere forming. Not every conflict will disappear at once, but your way of responding will be different. You are no longer pulled into the old cycle. You are standing in a new place, the place of one who is free within. They will draw near to you, perhaps not first with praise, but with curiosity. They will wonder what has happened, how after such deep changes you can carry both joy and calm. And you will understand that this is not your own glory. It is the sign of the work I am doing. That quiet transformation becomes a living testimony without argument, without defense. A renewed life always carries more persuasive power than words alone. So, I remind you again, to bring peace to your heart. The suffering and anxiety you once carried are not a story without end. They have an appointed time. They have limits. You will not be required to repeat the same cycle of trials endlessly. What you have walked through has fulfilled its purpose not to define you, but to bring you to this place where you are ready to release and step into freedom. There are doors that open only when you stop trying to save yourself and choose to trust me completely. You have entrusted your heart to me not through perfection, but through sincerity. You have received my word not as a rigid set of rules, but as the guidance of a loving Father. You have allowed me into the deepest corners of your life, even those you once hid in shame or fear. And because of that openness, release is taking place not only for you, but for your family as well. True freedom never stops with one person. It spreads like light in a dark room. Remember what is written, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. John 8:3-6. The freedom I give is not a passing feeling, but a new way of living. It allows you to face memories without being ruled by them, to face others without constant defense, and to face the future without fear leading the way. You will gradually realize that you are no longer reacting from old wounds. You are responding to life from a place that has been healed. My beloved child, continue forward in this trust. Do not lose heart if there are still difficult days. The process is not canceled simply because you slow down. I am here, patient, steadfast, and faithful to complete what I have begun. Your family is being covered by this grace. What once bound you will no longer hold the same power. And as this growing freedom takes root, you will learn to live no longer from fear or pressure, but from love, from life, and from a deep joy that no one can take away. My beloved child, your steadfast faith has touched my heart more deeply than you can imagine, not because you have always been strong, nor because you have never wavered, but because in the midst of very human unsteadiness, you chose not to take your eyes off me. You are learning a rare and precious lesson: how to wait without bitterness, how to hope without demanding, how to trust even when you do not yet see results. That patience does not come from sheer willpower. It is born of relationship, of placing your heart in my hands and allowing me to lead you through each day. Each breath, you did not chase signs to calm your fear. You did not demand proof to hold your faith together. You understood that my word is enough to heal, enough to sustain, enough to illuminate the path ahead. This brings me joy, for when you trust that my true desire is to bless you, you see me not as one who must be persuaded, but as a Father who can be trusted. That trust creates space for grace to work in ways deeper and more enduring than even the most spectacular displays. Today carries a special meaning in your journey, not because everything has suddenly become perfect, but because a door has opened. This is your day of salvation, not only in the sense of being rescued from what is harmful, but of stepping into new life, like dawn that arrives quietly, yet cannot be stopped. Deliverance is gradually shining into places that were once dark within you. You may not see it fully yet, but you will feel it, a deep lightness, a renewed ability to rise again, one you once thought was no longer possible. I ask you this not to test you, but to invite you. Are you willing to rise and walk forward, not with great strides that leave you exhausted, but with faithful steps taken each day, seeking me, listening to me, and not turning away from my love and my presence? That willingness is not measured by grand promises, but by repeated choices made when no one is watching. And I have seen you. I have seen the mornings when you woke with a heavy heart yet still chose to come to me. I have seen the moments when you doubted yourself, yet refused to leave the source of life. Each morning, I come closer to you than you realize. I uphold your soul before the world demands anything from you. I place within you the courage needed to face a new day, not the courage to fight, but the courage to be present. I give strength not so that you must carry everything alone, but so that you may recognize where holy boundaries lie, and through love's quiet, repeated whispers, I am teaching you that your worth does not rest in what you can accomplish, but in the truth that you belong to me. The same is true for your family, not an afterthought, but a deep and complete concern of my heart. In recent months, You have shown great faith and unwavering faithfulness. You have stood firm on difficult days, keeping your word even when your emotions offered no support. I honor that. But, my beloved, the strength I give you is not meant for you to shoulder everything by yourself. Even within that strength, you have sensed a deeper need, a need to walk with others, to share the load, to be healed at deeper levels of life. Recognizing that need is not weakness, it is a sign of maturity. The work I am doing in you is a process unhurried and not superficial. It cannot be completed in a single day. For I am not merely treating symptoms, I am laying new foundations. And this work cannot fully bear fruit if your family is left behind. What I am building is not only a strong individual, but a living space where love, truth, and peace can dwell. If you are healed while your family is left behind, your heart will not be at rest. I know this, and I do not want you to choose between your own growth and the well-being of those you love. Therefore, I am carefully weaving the threads within you and through you so that your family may also be touched. It may not happen at the pace you expect or in the way you anticipate, but it will unfold in wisdom. You will learn patience not only for yourself, but for others. You will learn to love without conditions, to listen without defensiveness, and to hope without imposing your will. These are necessary steps in seeking me within shared life, not only in moments of solitude. Let this word anchor you when your heart wavers. The one who endures to the end will be saved. Matthew 2:4-1-3. This endurance is not about gritting your teeth and merely surviving. It is about remaining in love, remaining when it is easy, remaining when it is hard, remaining when you understand and even when you do not. I am not seeking perfection. I am seeking faithful presence. And there, I will complete what I have begun. My beloved, rise each day with an open heart. Walk forward with the humility of knowing you do not have to do everything on your own. I am here, have always been here, and will remain here to guide you, to lift you, and to build with you a future that is not only better, but rightly aligned. When you seek me first, everything else will fall into its proper order. And within that order, you and your family will find life deep, true, and enduring. My beloved, I know there are evenings when you quietly look at your children and feel a sorrow rise within you, difficult to put into words. You have sown seeds of faith in them with your whole heart through silent prayers, through the stories you told, and through the life you have tried to live uprightly before me. And yet, at times, it seems as though they no longer pay attention to these things. They appear indifferent, absorbed in their own worlds, speaking less of me, asking fewer questions, opening their hearts less. You wonder whether you have done something wrong, whether what you have nurtured is slowly fading. I see that concern, and I do not take it lightly. The indifference of your children does not only weigh heavily on your heart, it touches mine as well. For I remember clearly what once lived within them. I remember the early, unclouded faith, the awkward yet sincere words of praise, the innocent songs lifted not out of obligation, not because anyone reminded them, but from simple joy in being near me. Those moments have not disappeared. They are merely hidden for a time beneath new layers of experience. The confusion of growing up and questions still unanswered. Do not mistake silence for complete loss. The seed is still there, even if it lies quietly beneath the soil. I want you to understand something important. The journey of faith for each child does not follow a straight line. There are seasons when they draw near, and seasons when they seem to pull away, not to abandon, but to seek for themselves. The world around them today is loud, pulling them in many directions, offering countless voices that compete with my gentle whisper. In that confusion, their apparent distance may not come from unbelief, but from not yet knowing how to express what is happening within them. I see this, and I am patient, and because I am patient, I invite you to be patient as well. Your role in my plan for your children is far from insignificant. You are not called to control their hearts, but to keep a safe space for those hearts. You are not called to force faith, but to bear witness to faith through a life of love, consistency, and humility. When you approach them with love, you open a door. When you approach them with judgment, that door closes not because their hearts are hardened, but because they fear being misunderstood. I know there are times when you grow weary, when gentle words seem ineffective, when discipline appears to be the easiest option, but I remind you to be careful with harsh words. They may be spoken in a moment of tension, yet they can leave a lasting imprint on a child's heart. There are wounds that do not bleed, that make no noise, yet quietly shape how they see themselves, how they see me, and whether they believe they are loved without condition. I do not want words spoken about me to become a source of fear within them. Remember, this love does not exclude correction, but love shapes the way correction is given. When you speak with your children by listening before correcting, by showing empathy before offering guidance, you are reflecting my heart. When you acknowledge that there are times you yourself do not fully understand everything, you give them permission to be honest. When you pray for them quietly rather than arguing with words, you place them into my hands, the safest place of all. I have not forgotten the days when they were small, and I have not given up in the days when they are growing. The plans I have for them are not threatened by a season of indifference. There are things that only take root when they are old enough to choose for themselves. And in this very season, the strongest testimony does not come from sermons, but from the atmosphere of the home, the atmosphere of respect, of dialogue, of mercy. In that place, I have room to be present without being forced. My beloved child, let this word illuminate your steps. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Colossians 4:6. Gracious speech does not make you weak, it makes you trustworthy. It does not strip you of authority, it allows your authority to be received. And within that grace, I am at work quietly, yet steadfastly. If there are moments when you feel you have spoken too harshly, when you have reacted out of exhaustion, I do not condemn you. Return, apologize if needed, and begin again. Your humility will teach your children a deeper lesson than any advice could, that true love makes room for repair. This is also how I love you, not withdrawing my love when you stumble, but inviting you to rise and walk on. Keep sowing, my beloved, even when you do not yet see green shoots. Water the soil with prayer, with presence, with the joy of living authentically. Let your children see a faith that is not rigid, not afraid of questions, not closed off from the world, a faith strong enough to love, gentle enough to listen, and real enough to be lived each day. I will do the rest, for I love your children even more than you are able to love them. I am near to them, even when they turn away. I am calling them along paths you cannot see, and I am with you, strengthening your heart as a parent, so that you do not grow weary on this long journey. Trust that steadfast love is never wasted. In the appointed time, the seeds sown with tears and hope will blossom, not in the way you control, but in the way I prepared long ago. My beloved child, I know there are days when your heart feels stretched tight like a cord pulled for too long. The frustration that builds up is not because you lack love, but because you have loved so deeply, hoped so intensely, and waited so long without yet seeing what you desire. Today, I invite you to lay that burden down. Set aside the anger, quietly knocking at your heart's door, not because you are wrong to feel tired, but because anger has no right to lead love. When you speak to your children with patience and gentleness, you are choosing a harder but deeper path, a path on which I walk with you. Remember that your children are not problems to be fixed, but lives entrusted into your hands to be cared for. They carry your breath, your heartbeat, and even the dreams you once had when you were very young. When you forget this, words can become sharp. When you remember it, words find their rhythm of love again. I do not ask you to indulge or ignore every wrong. I invite you to lead through steadfast presence, through a living example, and through a heart that listens before it instructs. Bring them to me not only through advice, but through daily life. Bring them when you pray in the kitchen, when you whisper gratitude for small things, when you apologize for losing your temper, when you choose forgiveness instead of distance. Those moments speak of me more clearly than any sermon. When your children see you seeking me in ordinary life, in work, in weariness, in joy, they will learn that I am not distant or harsh, but near and trustworthy. At first, you may not see clear changes. That does not mean nothing is happening. Seeds always grow in silence before they break the surface. Do not give up because you have not yet seen results. Do not lose hope because the process does not move at your desired pace. I am at work in the deeper layers where character is formed, where choices slowly mature, where hearts learn to discern the true call amid countless noises. You may not see all these movements, but I do. Persist in prayer without ceasing, not as a ritual, but as a relationship. When you pray, you are not persuading me, you are remaining with me. And in that remaining, power is released at the right time. Breakthrough will come, not through a sudden leap, but through a series of steady transformations. You will begin to notice your children adjusting their way of life more gently, more thoughtfully, more responsibly. They may not say much, but you will see it in the choices they make, in how they respond, in how they return after they have wandered. Continue to seek me, even when you are tired. For when you seek me first, order is restored. Peace is no longer a distant luxury. It becomes the climate of your home. Laughter will return not because everything is perfect, but because hearts are being healed. Joy will abound not because there are no more challenges, but because challenges no longer occupy all the space. I delight in seeing you choose trust, for that trust opens the door for blessing to enter. My promises do not fade with time. The word I speak does not return empty. There are things you have prayed for over many years concerning your family. Unity, deep peace, they are on their way. Do not measure my timing by your calendar. Do not evaluate my work by fleeting emotions. I am faithful even when you do not yet see. I am steadfast even when you are weary. Let these words anchor you when your heart feels unsteady. Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. 1 Corinthians 1:5-8. This steadfastness is not stubbornness, it is faithfulness. It is not silent endurance, but the choice to keep loving with wisdom. Every gentle word, every quiet prayer, every patient decision, each one is a brick laid in the future you are hoping for. My beloved child, place your trust in my faithfulness. I do not merely see your efforts, I uphold you in every step. I do not only hear your requests, I answer them in ways that lead to life. Keep walking slowly if you must, even when you are weary, but do not step away from love. In the time I have appointed, your family will be filled with joy, and you will look back on this journey with deep gratitude, because you did not give up while the outcome was still on the other side of faith. My beloved child, I have heard every prayer you have spoken, not only the ones voiced aloud, but also the ones you held in your heart when you no longer had the strength to speak. I have seen the way your eyes turn toward me with quiet hope, sometimes fragile, yet never extinguished. I have recognized that your faith is not a fleeting emotion, but a steady choice, the choice to trust even when you do not yet understand, the choice to keep going even when you cannot yet see. In a world quick to complain and impatient for answers, your grateful heart shines like a small lamp, not loud, but enough to light the way. I want you to be at peace. The blessing you are waiting for is not standing still in the distance. It is moving toward you according to the rhythm I have set, and when it arrives, it will not carry worry or pressure, but will drive away the fears that have clung to you for so long. I have not forgotten the very first moment you cried out to me in distress. In that instant, you placed your full trust in my word, asking for no guarantee other than my faithfulness. That trust opened a path on which I am now leading you. Step by steady step, what you have long desired is not an illusion. It will become reality in a way that fits the person you are becoming. You see, many grow discouraged because they expect an immediate answer. They mistake delay for silence, and silence for refusal. But I am not indifferent, and I am not slow in the way you fear. I desire deeply to answer, yet before I give what you ask, I must work within you, shaping how you will receive it, strengthening your capacity to carry it, and widening your vision so that grace does not become a burden. I refine character not to exhaust you, but to set you free. I teach wisdom not to make you fearful, but to help you choose what is good among countless options. I prepare everything not only so that blessing may come, but so that blessing may remain. For some gifts, if given too early, would overwhelm you. Some things, if given out of order, would leave your heart unsettled. I love you enough not to give good things in ways that would harm you. At times you ask only for what you need today, and I understand. But I always plan with a longer horizon in view: your tomorrows, your family's path, the seasons you have not yet entered. I do not bless with anxiety or strain. I bless with peace and joy. I do not place you in a race where you must cling to grace by your own strength. I place you in a relationship where grace is upheld by mercy. That is why, when blessing comes, you will not fear losing it, fear lack, or fear having to prove yourself worthy. Look back on the journey you have already walked. Some doors closed in ways that hurt you, yet those very doors protected you from paths you were not ready to take. Some winding roads discouraged you, yet those same roads taught you how to trust when there was no map. I have not wasted a single tear of yours. I have turned them into water for resilient seeds. You have not walked in vain, and your prayers have not fallen into emptiness. When you are waiting, do not think of waiting as standing still. Waiting with me means continuing to live uprightly, continuing to love without condition, continuing to give thanks in small things. That is how you cooperate with the work I am doing. And in these days of not yet seeing, I am giving you the most precious gift of all, a peaceful heart before circumstances change. That peace will be the firm foundation when blessing finally knocks at your door. Let these words anchor you again. Cast all your anxiety on God, because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. To cast is not to forget, it is to trust. To trust that I care not only for what you see, but also for what you cannot yet see. To trust that I am working not only for you, but because of you, for fullness of life, for lasting joy, for a future no longer led by fear. My beloved child, keep walking with a heart that is both gentle and steadfast. Let gratitude guard you from bitterness, and let hope protect you from weariness. Blessing is coming at the right time, in the right way, and in the right measure to help you flourish. When it arrives, you will realize that the waiting days were never wasted. They prepared you to receive with peace and to share with joy. I am here, faithful as I promised, and I will complete what I have begun in you and in your family. My beloved child, let your soul grow still and remember a truth inscribed not with ink, but with grace. I have made a covenant with you, a covenant not founded on your perfection, but on my faithfulness. I did not merely give you commandments to be memorized by the mind. I wrote them deep within your heart, where choices are formed and where conscience finds its voice. Therefore, even when you walk through uncertainty, you can still sense the right direction, not because you never stumble, but because you are being guided from within. I have forgiven you not by overlooking things lightly, but by erasing them completely. The failures you once carried, the things that filled you with shame, the memories you wish you could forget, I do not keep them to remind you again. I do not keep a record of what has been washed clean. When you are still condemning yourself, remember that I have not done so. I call you forward, unbound by the past. True freedom begins when you truly believe that you have been forgiven. In my presence, you will find comfort that needs no explanation. There are wounds that cannot be put into words, yet they are healed simply by your nearness to me. At my altar, whether it is in a small room, on a quiet chair, or in the midst of ordinary daily tasks, there is always healing and limitless strength. But, my beloved, this grace is received most fully by those who persevere in faith and know how to wait for the fulfillment of my promises. Waiting is not passivity. Waiting is trusting that what I have spoken carries more weight than what you currently see. Therefore, I invite you to tend the garden of your inner life. Uproot the bitter complaints that have taken root through weariness and disappointment. They do not nourish faith. They weigh your heart down. Dispel the doubts and mocking thoughts that quietly erode your trust. Do not allow voices that scoff at your faith to find a place within you. Not because you are afraid of debate, but because faith does not need to defend itself with noise. It grows in reverence and quiet. When weariness comes, and there will be days like that, do not strain yourself to appear strong. Simply call out to me. I do not require eloquent words. I only need you to call. I will give you endurance, not so that you endure in bitterness, but so that you stand firm with hope. I will grant you the gift of patience, the gift that steadies your emotions amid the storm and keeps you from reacting hastily out of fear. I also give you wisdom to guard your speech. There are words which, if spoken, would wound deeply not only the listener, but my own heart as well. I want you to learn when to be silent and when to speak. When words can bring healing, this wisdom does not make you weaker, it makes you strong in a lasting way. For true strength is not found in speaking much, but in speaking at the right time, in the right way, and with the right heart. I pour abundant blessing into your life, with love and gentleness like a father caring for his children. I do not give grace so that you may compare yourself or grow proud. I give it so that you may live with gratitude and learn to share. What I ask of you is not arrogant demands born of pride and self-importance, but a grateful heart, a heart that recognizes everything as a gift. Gratitude keeps you humble, and humility keeps you flowing within grace. You will see many around you who despise me. They mock, deny, or attack what they do not wish to understand. Even so, I patiently wait for them in love. My patience is not weakness, it is power restrained by mercy. Yet, my beloved, do not confuse mercy with contempt for what is holy. Those who rise up against me are playing with a dangerous fire, not because I am quick to anger, but because they are cutting themselves off from the source of life. Woe to those who oppose me, even if it is against the smallest of my disciples, not because I delight in punishment, but because to harm the least is to reject the very spirit of my kingdom, the spirit of love, humility, and protection. Do not be afraid of such voices. Remain in the truth, and let your life bear witness. Light does not need to argue with darkness. It only needs to be present. Hold this word as an anchor for your soul. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. Ezekiel 3:6-2:6. That new heart is a gift, not an achievement. It enables you to love when love is difficult, to remain patient when discouragement comes easily, and to trust when circumstances have not yet changed. With that heart, you will walk, not governed by noise, but guided by a gentle leading. My beloved child, remain steadfast in this covenant. When you are weary, I am your strength. When you are confused, I am your light. When you speak out of turn, I am gentle correction. I am near not to count your faults, but to lift you back to your feet. Guard a grateful heart. Watch over your words, and persevere in faith. In all these things, you will see that blessing does not merely arrive, it abides, bringing peace, joy, and an abundant life that no one can take away. My beloved child, I understand the sense of disappointment that quietly settles in your heart when things do not unfold along the path you had mapped out. You have tried hard, poured yourself out, and believed that if you did what was right and did enough, the outcome would meet your hopes. Yet reality turned another way. Relationships grew strained. Misunderstandings arose without warning. Envious eyes followed your steps, and obstacles appeared that seemed beyond what you could bear. In such moments, you began to wonder whether I was delaying, whether your prayers had been overlooked, whether you had taken a wrong turn. I know these questions do not come from rebellion, but from weariness. But my beloved child, what you are experiencing is not unusual. It is the very real rhythm of human life. No one passes through the journey of growth without encountering turns that unsettle the heart. I am not surprised by the conflicts you face, nor am I taken aback by those who seek to challenge you or wear you down. I see the whole picture more clearly than what you can see from where you stand now. And because I see clearly, I can speak to you with certainty. This situation is not as severe as it feels in your exhaustion. You are looking with eyes that are too close. I am opening your spiritual eyes to see from the distance of truth. The blessing prepared for you has not been canceled, nor has it been stolen by these upheavals. It has been made ready, set in its proper place, and is waiting. Yet, to step into it, you must move forward without turning back. There are things behind you, old memories, attachments that no longer fit, fears that once protected you but now restrain you. If you carry them with you, your steps will grow heavy and your vision will blur. I do not ask you to erase the past. I invite you not to let the past decide your next step. My beloved child, true blessing does not come by avoiding trials. If you desire what I have prepared, you will need to walk through the very things that frighten you, not so that I might prove my power, but so that you may discover the courage growing within you. I want to see how you respond when expectations are unmet, not because I doubt you, but because in such moments your truest self is revealed. When everything goes smoothly, anyone can be patient. When delays arise, only hearts firmly anchored can stand. I ask you this not to accuse, but to awaken you. Will you wait with joy in your heart, or allow bitterness to take its place? Will you keep your heart tender, or permit disappointment to harden your emotions? Many have let precious years slip by in resentment. They work hard, yet their hearts grow weary. They strive endlessly, yet their joy slowly drains away. I do not want that path for you. Bitterness does not make time pass more quickly. It only exhausts you more deeply. What I seek from you is not perfection, but strength, that has been refined. This strength does not shout, it endures. It allows you to keep loving even when misunderstood, to keep doing what is right even when unrecognized, to keep trusting even when results are not yet visible. The sincere love I desire does not depend on the responses of others. The steadfast faithfulness I cherish is not built on fleeting emotions, but on a decision to remain aligned with what is good. Let me be clear, the season of waiting is not an empty void. It is a refining furnace where I am removing mixed motives, reordering priorities, and deepening and strengthening your faith. If I were to place the blessing in your hands while you were tense and unsettled, you would carry it with anxiety. I want you to receive blessing and peace. I want what I give to be a source of joy, not a burden. Therefore, at times I delay not to test your trust, but to protect your heart. My beloved child, move forward with quiet courage. Do not allow the voices of jealousy or doubt to shape your responses. Let the light within you do its work, the light of truth, of character, of joy that cannot be stolen. As you continue walking, you will realize that today's obstacles are training you to stand firm tomorrow. The answers you have been waiting for are on their way, but they arrive together with a new version of you, one who can carry blessing with humility and share it with love. I am here, never taking my eyes off you. I see every effort, every drop of sweat, every time you choose not to complain. Trust that your faithfulness in these seasons of waiting is being recorded. Keep moving forward, do not look back. Do not give up. Do not let bitterness take root. At the appointed time I have set, you will look back and understand that what seemed like delay was, in fact, preparation. And when the blessing opens before you, you will step into it not trembling, but steady, carrying strength, genuine love, and a faithfulness refined through this very journey. My beloved child, I long to see within you the steel-like spirit I planted in you from the very beginning, a strength that is not loud or showy, but enduring and sharp, like a blade tempered by fire. Such character is more precious than diamonds, for diamonds can be bought, but character cannot. It is formed through unseen choices, through moments when you stand firm with no witnesses, through times you refuse shortcuts even when the cost is slower progress and greater difficulty. I am not searching for brilliance or display in you. I am seeking faithfulness, a heart that does not tilt toward temporary gain, that does not trade what is holy for money, advantage, or convenience. Do not betray me, and do not betray yourself by selling your convictions cheaply. There are temptations that come subtly, dressed as opportunity, as quick solutions, as everyone does it. But my beloved child, dishonest acts, theft, or lies, no matter how they are justified, by pressure or necessity, never shorten the road to true victory. They only delay real spiritual triumph and leave cracks in the conscience that take time to mend. I do not condemn you for being tested. I remind you that the straight path is always the safest one, even when it appears longer. The blessing you desire does not come through schemes, it comes through faith. Faith is not passive, waiting for a miracle. It is continuing to do what is right when results are not yet visible. Faith chooses truth when deceit seems convenient, chooses righteousness when injustice appears profitable, chooses patience when haste promises quick success. I know there are days when you feel as though you are swimming against the current, when others surge ahead while you slow down because of your principles. But my beloved child, the flow of grace never runs against a clean conscience. What comes quickly without foundation departs quickly. What comes rightly with foundation remains. Resist the cold of doubt, the kind that numbs the will and blurs vision. Doubt does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it comes through repeated questions, weary comparisons, soft whispers saying, "Just try a little harder so long as you get results." Recognize this outcomes achieved by wounding the truth are never outcomes I give. When the chill of doubt creeps in, warm your soul by remembering the times I have been faithful to you, the moments I made a way when there was none, the times I protected you from choices you thought were wise but were, in truth, traps. Ignore the counsel of the foolish. Not everyone who speaks often is wise. Not everyone who sounds confident is right. Some opinions come from those who do not believe, do not revere, and mock what they do not understand. Do not seek validation from such places. When you bring what is holy to those who despise holiness, you will receive only ridicule. Instead, treasure the words I place within your heart, the words that guide you toward truth, remind you to remain humble, and urge you to choose the difficult but righteous path. The voice that shapes you should not be the noise of the crowd, but the whisper of a conscience that has been refined. I am the faithful one, faithful in promise, faithful in timing, faithful in how I protect you even from the choices that would later bring regret. I ask you to respond with your own faithfulness. This faithfulness is not measured by grand declarations, but by small decisions repeated each day, faithful when no one rewards you, faithful when immediate gain calls out, faithful when you are tired and tempted to compromise. Each time you choose faithfulness, you sharpen your character. Each time you refuse compromise, you strengthen the foundation for the blessing that is coming. My beloved child, understand this. I am not holding you back to make things harder for you. I am keeping you within loving discipline to preserve you. I do not want you to win at the cost of losing yourself. I want you to win with a whole heart, a clean conscience, and hands that are not stained. When the blessing comes, and it will come, you will have the strength to sustain it, the wisdom to steward it, and the humility to share it. That is true victory, not merely reaching what is good, but remaining in it. If there are moments when you feel as though you are standing alone, do not be afraid. Truth often begins in silence. If there are times when you feel misunderstood, do not lose heart. Character does not need to be fully understood in order to have worth. Keep walking with your head held high and your heart kept gentle. Do not let money set the value of your soul. Do not let pressure bend the truth. Do not let mockery knock you off course. I am here seeing, knowing, and walking with you. My beloved child, guard what I have entrusted to you as a treasure, a spirit of steel, a character more precious than diamonds, and an unwavering loyalty. When you are faithful, I will show myself faithful. When you stand firm, I will make a way. And when you choose truth, blessing will come looking for you, not through haste, but through grace, not through schemes, but through faith, not through compromise, but through complete victory in the spiritual realm. My beloved child, you will discover something profound that you may never have considered before. Happiness is not a reward reserved only for clear skies and calm days. Even when you are walking beneath heavy clouds of conflict, misunderstanding, and tension, happiness can still take root within you if you choose to trust me and allow my word to guide you. Not because circumstances have changed, but because the inner axis of your life has shifted. When my word becomes your compass, you are no longer swept away by emotional headwinds or fear. You may still feel the pressure, but it no longer defines you. You learn how to stand steady in the fog without panic, without losing direction. There will be whispers telling you that you are about to fail, that you have gone too far, that this time you will not make it through. The enemy delights in predicting dark outcomes because he knows fear paralyzes the will. But my word speaks louder than every such prediction. I comfort you not with empty promises, but with real presence. I guarantee you victory not always in the way you imagine, but always in the way that leads you to life. That victory begins within, when you do not allow disappointment to steal your faith, when you refuse to let bitterness replace hope. I am with you, not watching from a distance, but standing at the very center of what you are experiencing. I strengthen your heart when it trembles, calm your anxiety when your thoughts are spinning, and heal emotions that have been stretched too thin for too long. There are wounds no one else can see, but I see them. There are pains you cannot name, but I understand. I fill you with a peace that does not depend on circumstances, and with a supernatural strength that does not come from forcing yourself to endure. That strength lifts you each morning, helps you breathe more deeply, think more clearly, and walk more steadily. Therefore, I invite you to rise with courage. Not courage because you feel no fear, but courage because you do not allow fear to lead you. You are truly strong not by the world's standards, but by mine. You are wiser than you realize, because you are learning how to listen, discern, and wait. You are more capable than you once believed, because your ability does not come only from experience or talent, but from my presence with you. When you agree to walk with me, you carry a supply that does not run dry. I am filling you with spiritual power not to impress, but to endure. That power opens your eyes to see what was once hidden. It gives you courage to face the truth, even when that truth requires change. It gives you faith to expect miracles and wonders, not as a spectator on the outside, but as one invited to step in. But, my beloved child, you must move forward to see the walls fall. The walls of fear, insecurity, and old habits do not collapse when you stand still. They fall when you step forward in faith, even when your steps are trembling. Chains do not break simply because you wish them away. They break when you choose obedience, when you continue to pray even before you see change, when you continue to do what is right even without recognition, when you continue to believe even while the answer is still ahead. I know perseverance is not always comfortable. There are days when it feels as though you are repeating the same prayer, the same effort, the same hope. Yet it is in that repetition that faith is deepened and foundations are strengthened. So persevere, not with rigid willpower, but with a tender heart that knows how to return to me. Keep praying not as an obligation, but as a refuge. When you pray, you are not pulling me closer. You are remaining in a presence that has always been there. Hold fast to faith not as a feeling, but as a choice. Faith is choosing to trust my word even when your emotions waver. Faith is placing the weight of your life upon what I have spoken, not upon what you fear. Fight, but not in the way the world fights. Your battle is not meant to destroy people, but to guard the truth within your own heart. You fight when you refuse to let resentment take root. You fight when you choose forgiveness instead of retaliation. You fight when you keep hope alive in the midst of darkness, and persevere not because you are stubborn, but because you are anchored. Your perseverance is anchored in my faithfulness, not in your own strength. I give you strength and an unshakable faith, not so that you never stumble, but so that you do not remain on the ground when you fall. There will be times you stumble. There will be moments when things do not unfold as you planned. The carefully built plans may need adjustment. The doors you hoped would open may temporarily close. But, my beloved child, even in those moments, I am still there. I do not leave. I do not turn away. I reach out to lift you up, not with a look of reproach, but with the gentleness of one who knows how hard you have tried. My grace does not run dry when you are weak. It is revealed most clearly in weakness. My mercy is not limited by the number of times you fall short. It stretches across every season of your life. I do not love you because you are always right. I love you because you are you. And that love not only helps you rise again, but also teaches you how to keep walking with new wisdom, renewed humility, and a faith that has been refined. My beloved child, remember, this darkness is not the end. It is only the backdrop against which light is seen more clearly. The heavy clouds will pass, but what I am forming within you will remain. You are becoming stronger, deeper, and freer, not in spite of the trials, but because of them. Keep walking. I go before you. I walk with you, and I will never leave you. My grace and mercy are everlasting, enough for today, enough for tomorrow, and enough for every road still ahead of you. My beloved child, never shrink, my love or my forgiveness, by the limits that fear or past experiences try to impose. My love is not measured by how you feel today, nor is it determined by what you endured yesterday. I chose you not because you were perfect, but because I wanted you. I set you apart before you had a voice, before you knew how to ask or how to doubt. Even in your mother's womb, I saw who you would become, the path you would walk, and the turns you would have to navigate. Nothing in your life is accidental to me. I know every trial and hardship that lies ahead, not to worry, but to prepare. I know the seasons when you will stand alone, the times you will be misunderstood, the moments you will feel abandoned in the storms of life. I know the quiet battles within your heart, where you must choose trust over doubt, love over withdrawal, forward steps over turning back. And in all these things, my eyes have never left you. I know that you love me not with fleeting passion, but with steadfast seeking. You trust me not because everything is smooth, but because you have tasted my support in your weakest days. You seek me without hesitation, even when answers are unclear, even when you have only enough strength to whisper my name. I treasure that. I see the small choices you repeat each day, choices that are not loud, but faithful. You will not turn back just because negativity tries to discourage you. You will not allow threats, lies, or accusations from the enemy to define your identity. The enemy speaks through fear, because fear is the only tool he has to make you falter. But, my beloved child, you do not belong to fear. You belong to truth. And the truth is that I have placed within you a heart that knows how to stand firm, not because you never tremble, but because you do not let trembling rule you. You will not be overcome by fear, for fear does not come from me. Fear makes you see the future through a lens of lack. My love opens before you a horizon of hope. When you believe that I love you not merely as an idea, but as a living reality, you will gradually realize that you are not walking alone. And if you are certain that I am real, not a handed-down story or a vague concept, then believe this as well. A great blessing awaits you, not to make you proud, but to enable you to live fully in the purpose I have set for you. This is the eternal truth you must hold on to. Even when everything around you is shaking, I do not change. I am not governed by moods, not swayed by circumstances, not someone who speaks one way and acts another. I do not deceive you with empty promises. Every word I speak carries the full weight of faithfulness. When I say I am with you on bright days and in the darkest nights. When I say I will lead you, I do not abandon you halfway simply because your steps are slow. I am the everlasting one, without beginning, without end, never weary. That means my love for you has no expiration date. It does not diminish with time, does not fade because of failure, does not withdraw when you are weak. If I have told you 1,000 times that I love you, it is not because I fear you will forget, but because that truth must be spoken again and again until it sinks into your soul deeper than the criticisms you once heard, deeper than the wounds you once carried. Whatever you are facing, a difficult crossroads, an unresolved loss, an uncertain future, I will not stop loving you. I do not love you if you are strong enough, if you are faithful enough, or if you never make mistakes. I love you while you are learning, stumbling, growing. This love does not make you stagnant. It lifts you up. It does not hide the truth. It gives you the courage to face the truth without being crushed by it. My beloved child, let this truth become the foundation of your life. You are chosen, known, and fully loved. When you live from that foundation, you will no longer need to prove your worth to the world. You will not chase temporary approval. You will not allow lies to define you. You will walk in a deep freedom, the freedom of someone who knows where they belong. Open your heart to receive my love without conditions. Let my forgiveness heal the places where you still condemn yourself. Trust that what I have begun in you, I will bring to completion, not hastily, not carelessly, but fully and at the right time. I go before you into the future. I stand beside you in the present. I hold you in my grace. And when you are tired, remember this: you do not need to try harder for me to love you more. You only need to remain. Remain in the truth that I have chosen you. Remain in the trust that I do not change. Remain in the love that never runs dry. Wherever you are, however you are, I say this to you, and I will keep saying it: I love you. My beloved child, I know that what I am speaking to you is not something everyone can understand. Some truths open only to hearts willing to remain, not to those who rush to judge and then turn away. Many choose to cling to familiar lies because they feel safer than the truth. Truth requires courage. It demands change. It calls for the letting go of layers that have protected them for too long. When obstacles arise, they retreat and call it wisdom. But in reality, it is fear dressed up as reason. They give up not because the path is too hard, but because they are unwilling to pay the cost of growth. I see this, and I am not surprised. But you are different, not because you have never been tired, and not because you have never been confused. You are different because, in the moments when letting go would have been easiest, you chose to stay. You did not surrender when explanations failed to come. You did not retreat when results had not yet appeared. You did not stop midway because the noise of doubt surrounded you. You did not turn back to reclaim the false safety of old habits. I see every one of those choices. I see the way you clenched your teeth and kept moving in silence, the way you guarded your heart against bitterness, the way you chose to trust me even when your emotions did not support you. You will not abandon your faith, not because you are stubborn, but because you have tasted the truth. You have seen me lift you in the past. You have felt my hand steady you when you thought you were about to fall. My promises to you are not slogans for self-comfort. They are anchors that hold your soul steady in rough seas. Day by day, you will continue to stand, not by your own strength, but by a trust that has been refined. Some days you stand in joy. Some days you stand simply because you refuse to betray what you know to be true. And I honor both. Your life matters deeply to me, not in an abstract way, but in a very personal one. I know the rhythm of your heart. I know the dreams you have not yet dared to speak aloud. I know the fears you hide behind calmness. I know what you need even before you have words for it. You are not a number in a crowd, nor a pawn in a vague plan. You are someone I know, someone I choose to love, someone I have decided to walk with. When you wonder whether you matter, remember this: I do not invest time and grace in what is meaningless. Just as I helped you in the past when you were weaker than you are now, when you understood far less than you do today, I will continue to help you now and in every day ahead. I do not change the way I love from season to season. I do not withdraw support as you grow. Instead, I reveal my love in new ways, deeper, wiser, more fitting for the person you are becoming. At times I make the path clear. At times I remain still so you can learn to walk in trust. At times I answer quickly. At times I allow waiting so you may discover that you are far stronger than you ever believed. I will show you that I love you in countless ways, through doors that open at just the right moment, through doors that close in order to protect you, through seemingly chance encounters that carry quiet support, through unexpected moments of peace in the middle of pressure-filled days. I will speak to you through stillness, through whispers, through gentle reminders, and also through correction when it is necessary. My love is not merely a pleasant feeling. It is a living relationship, close enough to comfort you and real enough to transform you. There will come a time when you realize that the doubt which once exhausted you has gradually lost its voice, not because you forced yourself to believe, but because experience has taught you that I am always there. You will no longer ask whether I care about your small, everyday needs because you have seen how I attend even to the smallest details. You will no longer wonder whether I hear your prayers because you have witnessed answers arrive in ways you did not expect. You will understand that I watch over you not to control you, but to protect you, that I care for you not because I need you, but because I love you. I am with you when you speak and when you are silent. I notice the words you say and the words you cannot bring yourself to say. I know the prayers you offer with tears, and also the prayers you can only think in your heart when you no longer have the strength to pray aloud. Nothing about you is too small for me to notice. No moment is insignificant to me. When you feel most alone, I am still there, not loudly, not forcefully, but faithfully and steadfastly. My beloved child, keep walking as you have been walking. You do not need to prove anything to the world. You do not need to explain your choices to those who do not understand. You only need to remain in the truth you have already tasted. You are not someone who gives up. You were not created to turn back when things become difficult. You were created to stand firm, to walk through, to become a living testimony of faithfulness, not yours, but mine at work within you. My beloved, I take deep delight in seeing that your faith is still alive, still breathing, still moving, not a faith confined to rituals, but a faith that comes to me with very real longings in the heart. You do not hide what you need. You do not dress up what you desire. You come as you are, with hopes not yet fulfilled, questions without answers, and empty spaces you do not yet know how to fill. I see this, and I smile, for I am not searching for perfect prayers. I am looking for an honest heart. Some have told you not to seek me merely for what you hope to receive. They fear that such seeking makes faith self-serving. But my beloved, I speak to you with the clarity of love. Seek me with your whole heart. Do not fragment who you are. Do not hide your longings for fear of being misunderstood. I am not offended by your needs. I am a father, and a father understands his children. When you seek me fully, with both worship and very human desires, I will take care of the rest. I do not invite you into a rigid relationship. I invite you into trust. There will come a moment when you understand something that settles your heart into peace, even before you speak. I already know what you need. I do not know it in order to stand at a distance, but in order to prepare. Some things you sense only as a vague longing, yet I already see their full shape. Some things you call dreams, but I call seeds. I know when a seed needs to be planted, when it must be covered, and when it needs light to break through the soil. That is why it is never pointless for you to ask me for anything. Every request is a thread that connects your heart to mine, and I treasure each and every thread. I rejoice when I hear the sound of your faith. It is not only in the words you speak, but in the music of how you live, the way you choose to believe before you see, the way you continue to pray before results appear, the way you guard your heart from bitterness when time stretches on. You know that I love you not in theory, but through experience. You have seen me answer in ways you did not anticipate, at the very moments you needed it most. And because you know that I love you, you trust that I will answer you again, not according to your own understanding, but according to the wisdom of love. Yet what pleases me most in you is not the boldness with which you ask, but the perseverance with which you wait. You do not lose heart when the answer does not come quickly. You do not abandon me when silence lingers. You do not change direction simply because the path has not yet opened. You have learned a deep lesson that not everyone learns. Waiting is not rejection. Waiting is preparation. In those waiting days, I have been doing far more than you could see. I have been expanding the capacity of your heart so that you may receive without breaking. I cherish your patience. Patience is not enduring under strain. Patience is remaining in trust. You have learned to let your heart beat slow, your breathing deepen, and urgent demands give way to surrender. You no longer press me with the fear of missing out, nor do you measure my love by the speed of my answers. You have learned to place your trust in my nature, that I am good, and that what I give always carries life with it. Now you understand that waiting does not diminish you, it matures you. While you wait, I refine your motives, heal old empty places, and teach you to discern between what you want immediately and what you need for the long term. At times you ask only for enough for today. I am preparing for seasons you have not yet entered. At times you long for a door to open quickly. I am building a foundation so you can stand firm when that door opens. I do not give you things that will leave you anxious. I give you what aligns with peace. My beloved child, continue to seek me with your whole heart, without reserve, without calculation, without dividing your heart. Come to me with your longings, with your joy, and even with your weariness. I do not love you less when you need more. I do not love you more when you need less. My love does not fluctuate with your condition, and in this seeking, you will gradually discover that the greatest gift you receive is not merely answers, but me, my steady presence, an unfailing source of peace and wisdom that guides you step by step. There will come a day when you look back and see that the months of waiting were never wasted. They shaped you into someone with depth, able to hold blessing without losing humility, able to receive grace without the pressure to prove yourself. And when the true and good things I have prepared for your life are placed into your hands, you will realize I was not late. I was right on time. My beloved child, be steadfast in heart, not by reassuring yourself that everything will somehow be fine, but by placing the full weight of your heart on the truth that I am covering you. The strength I give is not a fleeting surge of excitement. It is a gentle yet unyielding armor, wrapping you in your most exhausting days, when you feel you have only enough strength left to breathe. I am keeping that breath steady. When everything feels unsteady, I am anchoring you so you are not swept away. Stand firm not because you feel no pain, but because you are being upheld. The days of sorrow will pass, not because you deny your grief, nor because you rush through it, but because sorrow has no right to remain forever. There are seasons that require tears to wash away old burdens. There are nights that require silence so the heart can rest. But my beloved child, night is not your home. Dawn is being prepared, even when you cannot yet see it. Joy will return not loudly, not with display, but like light filtering through the curtains, gentle enough not to overwhelm you, real enough to steady you. That joy will enter your life and your household, bringing warmth, laughter, and the quiet assurance of being where you belong. I know you have carried many things in your heart. You have tried to keep everything from falling apart, to keep those you love safe, to keep hope from going out. I see it. And today I want you to know that you are not the only one holding it all together. I am holding with you, holding the pieces you cannot yet arrange, holding the words you have not been able to speak, holding even the dreams you have not dared to name. When you allow me to hold them, the weight no longer rests on your shoulders alone. You can serve me not by doing something grand by the world's standards, but by sharing this word, a word of support, of trust, of hope that cannot be extinguished. When you share, the blessing is not diminished, it multiplies. There are souls who are weary, as you once were. There are hearts searching for words, gentle enough not to frighten them, and true enough for them to believe. When you speak from an experience that has been healed, you become a bridge, not a noisy bridge, but a steady one, upon which others can cross their fear without being judged. Top of form, bottom of form today. I bless you not because you have done everything right, but because your heart is pure and unadorned. This simplicity is not naivete. It is the choice not to complicate love. You come to me as you are, without demanding titles, without bargaining with merits. You keep your heart tender in the midst of a harsh world, and it is precisely this tenderness that makes you strong. I cherish what the world often overlooks: honesty, patience, and a quiet gratitude. Because of your faith expressed through very ordinary choices, great and beautiful things are on their way. Not everything great arrives as a dramatic event. Many great things come through perseverance. A relationship that is healed little by little. A new way of living that brings lasting peace. A door that opens at the right time so you do not have to chase it. A home, learning again how to listen and laugh together. These things do not overwhelm, but they change the trajectory of a life. Let me speak more clearly about the strength with which I am covering you. It is the strength to stay when you want to leave. The strength to speak gently when you could speak sharply. The strength to wait when you want to push. The strength to forgive when memories still hurt. This strength does not force you to become someone else. It brings you back to who you were created to be. And in that return, peace finds its home. My beloved child, do not be afraid of the emotions you are experiencing. I do not require you to be joyful immediately. I invite you to be honest. When you are tired, say you are tired. When you are sad, say you are sad. When you hope, say you hope. I have room for all of it. And when you speak it out, you will see the weight lessen, your vision widen, and your rhythm reset. I am not rushing you. I am walking with you. Your household will sense the change, not because every problem disappears, but because the way you are present is different. You enter a room with greater calm, listen more, and slow your reactions. The atmosphere shifts when one person chooses to remain in love. Your voice, seasoned with gentleness, will invite reassurance, and gradually, those you love will realize that they, too, are invited into that safe space. When you share these words, do not worry about saying them right. Speak truthfully. Truth has its own healing power. Perhaps you only need to say, I was tired, but I was not abandoned. Perhaps you only need to be present with someone, without offering advice. I work through such small things, and you will be surprised to see blessings return to you by paths you did not expect. Beloved child, trust that joy is on the way. Not a shallow joy dependent on circumstances, but a deep joy steady enough to keep you standing when the winds change. This joy does not erase painful memories. It puts them in their proper place, so they no longer govern the present. When joy returns, you will not forget the hard days. You will be grateful for how they led you here. I am doing something great in the quiet. I am weaving threads of blessing around your life into your work, your relationships, your daily rhythm. There are things you ask for. There are things I give beyond what you imagine, because I see farther. What I give does not carry strain, it carries relief. Not pressure, but freedom. Therefore, take heart, breathe deeply, walk each day with simple trust. When you are weary, I lift you. When you are joyful, I am there to rejoice with you. When you share, I let blessing flow through you to others. And in all of this, remember, you are blessed not because you tried excessively, but because you chose to trust. Great and beautiful things are coming into your life. They come not to overwhelm you, but to settle you. They come not for you to prove anything, but for you to live fully. I am here, covering, sustaining, and guiding you, and I will continue to do so. Today and every day you walk. Beloved child, I do not stand at the threshold of tomorrow as a stranger. I am there as a father waiting for you to return after a long day. When morning comes, I invite you to step forward and tell me everything you are feeling, the joys you have not yet dared to name, the weariness you have carried for too long, the longings you have kept in the deepest corner of your heart. You do not need to arrange them neatly before you come. I receive you as you are. Your honesty is the gift I cherish. Bring your plans and place them before my throne, not as a contract to be signed, but as seeds entrusted to the hands of the one who knows the seasons of sowing. I know you have thought carefully, weighed your options, and worked hard to chart the path ahead. I do not dismiss any of that, but I want you to set those intentions in my light. So what needs refining may be refined, what needs waiting may be covered, and what requires courage may be strengthened. I tell you the truth, I will bless you abundantly, not to overwhelm you, but to establish you. The blessing I give is not only sufficient for today, it carries the capacity to remain and to multiply in the days to come. Walk by faith. Faith is not walking without emotion, it is walking without allowing emotion to lead. There are mornings when you wake with strong confidence, and mornings when you have only enough faith to stand up. I honor both. Do not give in to doubt, not because doubt never knocks, but because doubt does not get to decide. When doubt whispers, answer with the truth you have already tasted. I was with you. I am with you, and I will continue to be with you. Your faith is built not only by great miracles, but by the quiet days when you are held steady in peace. Seek me at dawn, not merely by the clock, but by the posture of your heart. Dawn is the moment of priority, when you choose me before the world makes its demands on you. In that stillness, I reset your rhythm. I quiet the noise in your mind, reorder scattered priorities, and remind you what is essential and what can wait. When you seek me early, you do not chase the day. You lead the day with my presence. And when the sun rises, my glory will shine upon you not as a spectacle, but as a covering. That light drives away the lingering shadows of anxiety, regret, and fear. You will realize that darkness does not disappear because you try harder, but because light has arrived. My light is not blinding to confuse you. It is warm enough to steady you and clear enough for you to walk with confidence. In that light, the road ahead no longer feels like a maze, but a path being gently guided. Your heart will be filled with my truth, not the kind of truth that condemns, but the truth that liberates. This truth tells you who you are, where you belong, and that you do not need to become someone else in order to be loved. When truth fills your heart, the lies that once took root lose their foothold. You will no longer have to prove your worth. You will live from the worth that has already been given. Your soul will be filled with strength, not the strength to dominate, but the strength to remain gentle, not the strength to rush, but the strength to endure. Your mind will no longer be ruled by sorrow, not because you deny the past, but because the past has been placed where it belongs. Sorrow no longer governs the present. it becomes a memory that has been healed. You will notice yourself thinking more clearly, breathing more deeply, and responding more slowly to what once sent you into panic. When the mind is free, decisions are made not from pressure, but from peace. And decisions born of peace carry life with them. I want you to recommit to a life of prayer, not as a duty, but as a return to the rhythm that nourished you before you became busy, a return to the stillness that kept you standing before you learned to carry everything on your own. Recommitment does not mean doing more, it means going deeper. Fewer words, more listening. Fewer lists, more presence. In that prayer, you are not trying to pull me down. You discover that I have already been there. Seek me, not by dividing your heart, but by offering it whole. When you seek me, you do not abandon your other responsibilities. You place them in proper order. I do not call you to withdraw from life. I call you to live it with a new source of strength. When you give time to me, time is not taken from you. It is returned to you in clarity, effectiveness, and joy. When you set distractions aside, you do not lose anything. You find yourself again. Place every thought and every decision into my hands, not because you lack wisdom, but because I see farther. Some decisions appear small, yet they shape many seasons ahead. Some choices seem timely, but need one more pause to become what is best. When you place them in my hands, I do not suffocate your freedom, I protect it. I do not live your life for you, I walk with you so that you may live it fully. My beloved child, I am not inviting you into a brief encounter, I am inviting you into a lasting relationship. Each morning you come, I am there. Each evening you return, I am still there. When you rejoice, I rejoice with you. When you are weary, I lift you. I do not grow tired of hearing you tell the same story again. I am patient because I love you. And in that patience, you will discover that the greatest gift I give is not merely answers, but my presence, the source of every answer. Come tomorrow. Come today. Come in the rhythm of your present breath. Tell me everything without hiding, without exaggeration. Lay your plans before me. Walk in faith. Seek me at dawn. Let my light shine upon you. Let truth fill your heart. Let strength renew your soul. And recommit gently, steadfastly placing your life of prayer, your seeking, and your decisions into my hands. My beloved child, I know very well what you are facing. There are problems that are no longer merely difficult, but have become so serious that you feel as though you are standing before a wall with no way through. There are mornings when you wake with a single question: what am I supposed to do next? You have thought. You have prayed. You have tried to see everything from many angles. Yet the answer has not appeared. I do not blame you for that confusion. I do not judge you for the moments when you do not know where to go. That is why I repeat this to you not once for form's sake, but again and again, until it sinks deep into your soul like an anchor that cannot be torn away. I affirm this to you with the authority of the one who does not change. Walk in faith, not a vague faith built on passing emotions, but a faith grounded in the truth that I am real, present, and at work even when you cannot yet see it. Faith does not erase the problem immediately, but it changes your position in relation to the problem. You are no longer standing alone before difficulty, you stand in me. And from that place, what once seemed impossible begins to shift. I command and I call you, not with pressure, but with a truth proven over time. All things are possible for those who trust me. Not because they are stronger than others, not because they face fewer trials, but because they know they are leaning on the one who is not limited by circumstances. They have chosen to trust me with all their strength, holding nothing back as a backup plan, not believing only when everything is favorable, but believing even when the road ahead is thorny and steep. My beloved child, I do not hide the truth from you. The journey of faith has heavy stretches. There are problems that do not disappear after a single prayer. There are situations that require you to move one very slow, very careful step at a time. Yet it is precisely on these stretches of the road that your faith is refined. You learn to rely on me rather than on control. You learn to trust my nature, not the speed of the answer. And you learn that faithfulness is not measured by whether you face problems or not, but by whether you remain with me when the problem is still unresolved. There will be times when the enemy attacks you not with force, but with words. He shouts that I have abandoned you. He whispers that if I truly loved you, you would not be hurting like this. He tries to plant the thought that you are walking alone, that your faith is useless, that my love is only a beautiful story. But, my beloved child, those who know that I love them, not merely by hearing, but by tasting and experiencing it, will cling tightly to me in precisely those moments. They do not let go when lies grow loud. They do not walk away when emotions waver. They do not turn their backs when the darkness thickens. They hold fast to me not because they feel no fear, but because they know that my love is eternal and cannot be broken. That love is not shaken by the enemy's shouting, not diminished by present pain, and not destroyed by the delay you are living through. I want you to understand this deeply. I am always guarding you, not only when you feel strong, but even when you are so weak that all you can do is breathe. I guard you when you are clear-minded, and also when you are confused. I guard you from choices that would wound you in the long term, even when you cannot yet see it. And I always protect you not by removing every trial, but by not allowing any trial to destroy what I have placed within you. There are things I allow to happen not to defeat you, but to separate you from false supports. There are circumstances that leave you with no other option but to return to me with your whole heart. And in that very return, you will realize that I never left. I was there all along, quietly but surely, keeping your soul from collapsing, keeping your faith from being extinguished, and keeping your future from being stolen. My beloved child, when you do not know what to do, remain with me. When you cannot see the way, take one more small step in trust. When you are weary from holding everything together for so long, let me hold you instead. You do not need to understand everything in order to keep believing. You do not need to see the entire picture to keep moving forward. You need only know one thing and cling to it. I am real. I love you, and I do not abandon those who trust in me. Your faith is not nullified by the problems you are facing. On the contrary, it is precisely within those problems that your faith is being proven genuine. And I am here not waiting for you to become perfect, but waiting for you to keep believing. I will lead you through. Step by step, I will keep you standing, day by day. And when you look back, you will realize this: what sustained you was not your own strength, but my everlasting love, a love that cannot be broken, cannot be stolen, and never leaves you. My beloved child, walk in faith, not as a slogan to reassure yourself, but as a deep, steady breath that reorders your entire life. I am here not to push you to run faster, but to make your journey lighter, to care for you in each small step. There are days when you feel you are carrying too much, thinking too much, enduring for too long. I know this, and because I know, I invite you to shift your weight from anxiety to trust, from self-striving to surrender. I do not need you to be strong in the way the world demands. I need you to truly trust in me. I am your source, not only the beginning, but the continual flow of life. Every good thing in you is nourished from that source. I am also your future, not a vague future, but one secured by unchanging love. I am your strength when you are weak, your protector when you feel exposed in the storm. When you walk with this awareness, you no longer need to prove anything. You only need to remain. Walk by faith, trusting in miracles that are not yet visible to your eyes. There are things being prepared in silence, growing beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Do not confuse what you cannot yet see with what does not exist. Many miracles do not arrive like thunder. They come like gentle rain, watering dry ground before green shoots appear. When you believe in what is unseen, you are cooperating with the work I am doing, not rushed, not forced, but certain. Even if your faith seems small, do not despise it. What I ask for is not size, but sincerity. A small yet genuine faith carries more weight than grand declarations that are empty. That faith is all you need to continue receiving extraordinary blessings, for blessings are not unlocked by human effort, but by trust. When you bring that small offering to me, I do the rest. I expand what you place into my hands. Hold fast to faith, not as if gripping a rigid object, but as embracing a living relationship. Faith lives when you return each day, listen each day, and choose to trust each day. Cling to my promises, not to escape reality, but to read reality in the light of truth. Those promises do not deny difficulty. They put difficulty in its proper place. When you hold to my promises, you are not swept away by rumors, comparisons, or collective fear. Listen to my voice each day, not only with your ears, but with your way of living. Listen in the stillness before the day begins, in your breathing when you are tired, in the wisdom you need when choices must be made. My voice does not always come as sound. Sometimes it comes as a gentle nudge, a clear thought, a peace that cannot be explained. As you learn to recognize my voice amid the noise, you will find yourself less hurried, less reactive, and less anxious. Leave your mistakes behind, not by denying them, but by refusing to carry them with you. What is past has fulfilled its role, teaching you, humbling you, showing you what needs to change, but it has no right to define your future. When you leave mistakes behind, you free your energy to move forward. When you forgive yourself in the light of grace, you open the door to true growth. Entrust your life to me, not in fragments, but wholly. Entrusting is not abandoning responsibility. It is placing responsibility into the right hands. When you entrust your life, you still work, still think, and still plan, but you do so in the peace of one who knows they do not carry everything alone. Entrusting allows you to work with joy rather than tension, to make decisions with wisdom rather than fear. I see your faith in me. I see it in the choices no one knows about. In the mornings you still rise, though your heart feels heavy. In the moments you choose to trust when your emotions are not aligned, I know you will keep moving forward in faith, not because you have never doubted, but because you have learned how to return. Each time you return, faith is renewed. Each time you remain, the foundation is strengthened. My beloved child, this journey is not a straight line. There are turns. There are slower stretches. There are moments when you must stop to breathe. I do not rush you. I do not compare you. I walk with you. When you are tired, I remind you that a small step is still a step. When you lose direction, I lead you back with gentleness. When you are afraid, I cover you with my presence, never leaving you alone. Remember this, I make your journey lighter, not by removing every trial, but by being with you in the trial. It becomes lighter when you no longer have to prove yourself, chase after approval, or strain to be worthy. It becomes lighter when you know you are loved before you do anything at all. It becomes lighter when you trust that even the things you cannot yet see are being arranged for your good. So walk in faith today. tomorrow, and every day. Walk when the path is clear. And even when you can see only one step ahead, hold fast to faith. Cling to the promise. Listen to my voice. Leave mistakes behind. Entrust your life to me. And as you do, you will realize this: you are not merely walking toward blessing, you are walking within, blessing the blessing of presence, of peace, and of strength given at the right time. My beloved child, I know there have been stretches of the road you have walked that felt so long you thought they would never end. One problem followed another, layer upon layer, until you were so weary that you wondered whether letting go of everything might be easier. There were nights when you stared at the ceiling and asked whether your life still had a way forward. There were mornings you woke with a heavy heart, wishing time would pass quickly so you would not have to feel so much. I was not outside those moments. I was there, even when you did not recognize me, even when you believed you were fighting alone. But now, my beloved child, I stand before you not as a memory of the past, but as the living presence of the present. I come not with reproach, not with a list of what you have failed to do, but with my love wide open. I offer you not merely a small comfort to help you endure, but a new source of life. I place before you gifts you never dared to ask for, joys deeper than fleeting emotions, and blessings greater than the limits you once set for yourself. What I give does not come to fill a temporary gap. It comes to reset the foundation of your life. Therefore, prepare your mind and your heart not with tension, but with openness. I say this to you now clearly and with certainty: those you thought had gone away will return into your life. Not all in the same way. Not every relationship restored to its former shape. But restoration will take place. There will be meetings that are healed. Words long unspoken will be spoken. Misunderstandings will be untangled. I am at work in stories you believed were finished. For I am the one who can reopen what you thought was closed. Your faith has grown not because you have suffered less, but because you have learned how to stand firm within the pain. This faith is not loud, it is deep. It does not need to prove itself, it endures. And now, as your faith has been refined, the time has come for you to become a place of refuge for others. People will come to you carrying broken hearts, not for you to fix them, but for you to be present. You do not need answers to all their problems. You need only to be there with the gentleness you have learned, with the patience you have cultivated, with the hope you held on to when it seemed there was nothing left to hold. Be ready for the moment when doors open, not doors of haste, but of right timing. There are opportunities you have waited for, paths you never dared to imagine, invitations that will surprise you. When the doors open, you will see that they do not open at random. They open because you are ready to walk through them without being driven by fear. At the same time, the chains that once blocked your blessing, the unseen chains of shame, old guilt, self-blame, and anxiety will be broken, not by your strength, but by my power. All things become possible when you trust my word, not because your faith is strong enough, but because it is placed in the right hands. Nothing lies beyond my reach, not too complicated, not too late, not too broken to be made new. What you call a dead end, I call a turning point. What you call loss, I call space to be filled with something better. What you call delay, I call the necessary preparation so that blessing will not become a burden. My beloved child, be ready for what is coming, not with defensiveness, but with a settled trust. What is ahead far exceeds anything you have dreamed, because your dreams are shaped by what you have seen, while what I am preparing is formed from what you have not yet seen. I do not merely fulfill desires, I expand your capacity to desire. I do not only bring you to where you want to go, I lead you to where you need to be in order to become more whole. Let me say this as well, your past is not erased, it is redeemed. The days you thought were wasted taught you compassion. The wounds you carry taught you how to listen. The times you fell taught you how to rise without pride. I use these very things to equip you for the road ahead. So, do not be afraid when I call you out of what is familiar. I am not pulling you into darkness. I go before you in the light. When people return, you will not receive them with resentment, but with maturity. When doors open, you will not rush through in panic, but step through in peace. When chains break, you will not look back in fear, but move forward in freedom. And when blessing arrives, you will not keep it for yourself, but let it flow through you to many others, because you have learned that true blessing increases when it is shared. My beloved child, take a deep breath and let your heart open. What is coming is not meant to overwhelm you. It comes to place you where you belong. There is joy waiting deep and enduring, not shallow. There is peace waiting steady and secure, not fragile. There is purpose waiting, fitting and life-giving, not imposed. I am not bringing you back to relive an old story. I am leading you into a new chapter where you live not merely to survive, but to flourish. My beloved child, the opportunity to mend and rebuild family bonds is closer than you think. It is not set in a distant future, nor does it require you to become someone else. It stands at the threshold of your life, gentle yet steadfast, waiting for you to open your heart. Forgiveness and healing do not arrive with noise. They come by a quiet invitation. When you are willing to listen, you will discover that ties you thought were broken are simply waiting to be rejoined with sincerity and patience. I know your past carries wounds that are hard to name. There were words that hurt you, actions that drove you into silence, distances that widened over the years. But, my beloved, the past does not have the authority to decide your future when you place it in my hands. Those who once caused you pain in ways you never desired will return to your life, not to reopen wounds, but to create space for healing. I am not saying everything will become easy overnight. I am saying it will become real. And what is real has the power to change. Offer them forgiveness, not as an eraser that denies what happened, but as a key that unlocks what can happen next. Forgiveness does not erase memory. It frees you from being bound by it. When you give them a second chance, you do not deny your pain. You affirm your right to live more lightly. Do not withhold your love out of fear of being hurt again. Love that is overprotected becomes barren. Love that is given with wisdom bears fruit. I am here to teach you discernment, to open your heart without losing your boundaries, to love without abandoning yourself. In this process, I also promise you provision in your work and career, not as a cold reward, but as an ordered flow. I do not merely give you a better job, I give you true wealth, wealth in meaning, in relationships, in peace, and in the resources you need to live fully. This kind of wealth does not cost you your soul. It gives your soul firm ground from which to serve and create. I will bring along your path people who recognize your value. They will not only see results, but effort, not only skill, but character. They will reward fairly the diligence and the abilities you have cultivated in quiet places. You do not need to compete or diminish yourself to be noticed. When you live in truth, truth will meet you through the right doors. You do not need to chase opportunity. Opportunity will find you. Therefore, live always in truth. Truth is not only speaking what is right, it is living rightly true to your values, true to your words, true to your conscience. Avoid spreading rumors or speaking ill of others, for such things dim the light within you. They may offer a fleeting sense of power, but they leave a heavy aftertaste. You are not called to win with your tongue. You are called to walk with character. When you keep your mouth clean, you keep your path bright. Ignore those who try to stir up trouble through rumors and lies. Not because you are weak, but because you know you are moving towards something greater. Do not spend your energy on arguments that bear no fruit. Your wise silence will speak louder than any rebuttal. And guard yourself against those who seek to steal the good things meant for you, not only through obvious actions, but through subtle intrusions into your thoughts, your beliefs, and your confidence. You guard yourself by choosing your companions, choosing what you listen to, and choosing where you place your heart. I have spoken to you for a long time through small signs, through gentle reminders, through moments when you pause to listen, and now the time has come for you to rise higher in order to understand more deeply, not understanding through knowledge alone, but through lived experience. You understand more deeply when you practice what I have taught you, forgiving when resentment would be easier, being honest when compromise would be tempting, remaining patient when haste would feel natural, and trusting when doubt would be the easier path. Complete trust does not come overnight. It is built through small decisions repeated each day. When you choose openness instead of withdrawal, you lay a brick. When you speak truth instead of what pleases the ear, you lay another brick. When you step away from rumors and move toward peace, you lay another brick still. Gradually, you will stand within a solid house, a house of character, of healed relationships, and of meaningful work. My beloved child, believe this: healing within a family is not a miracle that makes everyone perfect. It is a miracle that makes everyone courageous. Courageous enough to apologize, courageous enough to listen, courageous enough to ask questions without attacking, courageous enough to say, "Let us begin again." When you are the first to step forward with that courage, you are not alone. I walk with you, keeping your words gentle and your heart steadfast. Regarding work and finances, remember this: I do not invite you to chase empty wealth. I invite you to steward abundance. That abundance comes with responsibility, with wisdom, and with gratitude. When you receive with humility, you preserve joy. When you share with an open heart, you see blessing spread. When you live in truth, you do not fear loss, because what is meant for you cannot be stolen. Therefore, stand firm and move forward. Open your heart to forgiveness. Welcome opportunities for reconciliation. Trust the ordering of your work and your future. Keep yourself from rumors and deceit. Guard the good I have prepared for you, and rise higher to understand more deeply, not merely through words, but through a life that is being transformed. I am here neither pressuring nor withdrawing, walking with you in every decision. What is coming is not meant to make you anxious, but to make you steady. When you trust fully, you will see this family's healed, step by step, work opening at the right time, and you yourself becoming a bearer of peace wherever you go. I have spoken, and I will bring it to completion. My beloved child, I know very well the pressures you are carrying when finances become fragile, when work is no longer as stable as before, when the numbers weigh heavily on your heart each night. I do not dismiss these worries. I do not stand at a distance and tell you to be strong as though your fear were insignificant. But I want you to understand something deeper than the worries before you. Do not build the foundation of your life on money, for money was never created to carry your soul. When you place your full trust in it, even a small shift can leave you unsteady. And when loss occurs, bitterness can easily creep in, closing your heart, breeding suspicion, and turning you against yourself. Do not let that bitterness take root. It does not protect you, it only hardens you. It does not help you overcome hardship, it only makes you more weary. Instead, I invite you to entrust your faith to me, not with empty words, but by placing your heart in my hands, with all its anxieties, disappointments, and unanswered questions. When you entrust your heart, You do not lose control. You are freed from the burden of having to control everything yourself. The moment has come for you to begin a supernatural journey, not an escape from reality, but a way of living within reality with a different source of strength. This journey does not require you to know every step in advance. It invites you to take each step in trust. When you declare your love for me, not only with your lips, but with your choices, you place yourself within the flow of life. Your love for me does not make you poorer. It opens to you a treasure that the world cannot take away. Trust me, not with the expectation that everything will suddenly become easy, but with the confidence that I am at work. In time, you will witness how I touch your life and your family's life, not loudly, not with spectacle, but with certainty and lasting strength. Some miracles do not arrive as dramatic events. They come as delicate arrangements, a door opening at just the right moment, a meeting that seems accidental, an idea rising quietly within your heart, a peace that enables you to choose wisely. Taken together, these become the miracle of my care. I love you, my beloved child. That love is not measured by your financial condition or your job title. I desire to step into your home, not only the physical house, but the space where your family lives, where you place your hopes and your fears. I want to enter in order to set in motion a deep miracle, one that is not superficial, not temporary. I do not patch things up. I restore order. I stand at the door and knock, not forcing my way in, not breaking the door down. The question I ask is not meant to pressure you, but to open the way to freedom. Will you allow me to come in and do something new, wondrous, and full of power in your life? I have been watching over your circumstances, every small detail. I know the bills that make you sigh, the nights you lie awake, the meals you carefully calculate. I will not allow lack to enter your household in a way that destroys it. This does not mean you will not need wisdom. It means you will not be abandoned. I cover your family so that fear does not rule the atmosphere of your home, and tension does not become a legacy passed down. I will pour out blessing upon your family in the years to come, not like a sudden downpour that quickly fades, but like a steady, flowing stream. That blessing includes the provision you need, but it goes beyond that: joy for living, courage for facing what lies ahead, and rest that brings deep peace. Abundance is not merely having much. Abundance is having enough, and more than enough, to share without fear. When I give in a way that safeguards your soul. I know you have remained faithful. You have devoted yourself to prayer even when you did not yet see results. You have fasted not to impress, but to realign your priorities. You have placed me first in your efforts and your thoughts, even when you were unsure where that path would lead. I see those choices. None of them has been forgotten. Therefore, the time of harvest is drawing near, not because you forced it, but because the season has ripened, my beloved child. Harvest is not only about receiving, it is also a new responsibility. When I fill your home with abundance, you will steward it with wisdom. When I fill your home with joy, you will guard that joy against comparison and complaint. When I fill your home with courage, you will use that courage to love and to stand for what is right. When I fill your home with peace, you will become a place of refuge for others. Let me remind you of this, so you can move forward with confidence. This journey does not require you to be perfect. It invites you to be honest. When you are afraid, say that you are afraid. When you are tired, rest. When you do not know what to do, come closer to me. I do not promise that you will never face hardship. I promise that you will never walk through hardship alone. So do not place your trust in money. Place it in the one who never runs dry. Do not allow bitterness to take root. Let hope take the lead. Entrust your faith to me. Declare your love. Open the door of your home. I am knocking, and I knock with the gentleness of a father. the power of a protector, and the faithfulness of one who keeps his word. My beloved child, the years ahead are not years you will live in fear. They are years you will build. Build a strong family. Build a life of meaning. Build a future not on shifting sand, but on an unshakable foundation. I am here entering, arranging, renewing, and when you look back, you will say, it was precisely in the moment that seemed most lacking that I filled my home with abundance, joy, courage, and peace. Now pray like this, Lord. I ask you to grant me one more moment to pause and breathe. I do not pause to escape reality, nor to forget the burdens I carry, but to truly be here, fully present, awake, and open before you. Lord, there have been times when I became accustomed to always having to do more, to hold myself tightly together, to move faster and faster, as if slowing down would cause everything to collapse. But today, I ask to learn how to remain. Help me understand that what you desire most is not my achievements, but my heart. Help me listen not only with my ears, but with my whole soul. Lift me out of quiet panic and the habit of hurried reactions, so that I may receive your word as a firm truth, not as a fleeting comfort. Lord, I place before you the days I walked in the shadows, the nights I battled weariness, and the questions that had no answers. There were times I feared these were the end, that I had been left behind, that I had lost my way. But today, I ask you to place within me a new understanding that what I have walked through is not meaningless, nor will it last forever. Teach me to trust that one chapter is closing and a new door is opening, not loudly, but truly. Teach me to see with eyes of faith, so that I no longer measure my journey by passing emotions. Lord, please keep the small flame of hope alive within me when it feels barely there. Remind me that none of my sighs fall into emptiness. You have heard every one of them, every single time. Draw near to me in this moment, and uphold me with a presence that is gentle yet steady. I come back to you now, so that I may move forward not in fear, but in peace. Lord, I confess that I have often compared my steps with those of others. I have watched them move quickly while I move slowly, and my heart has grown unsettled. I have wondered why I must take the longer road, why the things I ask for seem to arrive late. At times, I have even called delay a failure. Today, I ask for your forgiveness for my hurried conclusions, and I ask you to teach me a deeper truth. What I call delay may in fact be your loving preparation. Lord, build my foundation not on achievement, but on identity. Uproot from my heart the habit of measuring my worth by productivity, by results, by how much I can accomplish. Teach me that I am loved before I ever do things right, and that I belong to you before I ever achieve anything. Expand the capacity of my heart, so that when blessing comes, I will not be overwhelmed, not lose my way, not become proud, but stand firmly in humility and love. Lord, grant me the gift of patience, patience without bitterness, hope without demands, trust without placing timelines upon you. Help me understand that waiting is not standing still, but continuing to live uprightly, to love faithfully, and to give thanks in small things. Establish peace within me as a foundation, so that I do not carry blessing with anxiety, but receive it in freedom. Lord, I thank you that you do not merely repair the surface. I believe you are reaching the roots, the invisible chains I have carried from the past, the distorted beliefs that have taken deep hold, the inner words that have wounded me, the hardened reactions I once used to protect myself. Lord, I do not want to live in old cycles anymore. I do not want what is past to keep controlling what is ahead. Teach me to release, little by little, Help me choose forgiveness instead of resentment, honesty instead of hiding, hope instead of despair. Unlock every link that has bound my soul, so that I may feel lighter, breathe deeper, and live more truthfully. Fill me with your Holy Spirit like living water, so that transformation is no longer an exhausting effort, but a healing flow, washing away what I no longer wish to carry, soothing wounds I have not yet named, and refreshing the dry places of my heart. Lord, I also lift up my family to you. Cover each one with grace, so that the freedom I receive does not stop with me, but spreads throughout my household. Renew the way we respond to one another, the way we speak, the way we are present together. May the promise of John 8:36 become real among us if the Son sets us free. We are truly free. Let the atmosphere of our home gradually become a dwelling place of peace. Lord, I thank you for seeing my quiet choices, the mornings when I rise with a heavy heart yet still return to you, the days when I doubt myself but refuse to leave the source of life. I once believed that faith must always be strong, always blazing, always full of emotion. Today, teach me that enduring faith is faith that remains remaining when it is easy and when it is hard, remaining when I understand and when I do not. Lord, anchor my heart in the written word. The one who endures to the end will be saved. Matthew 2:4-1-3. Let this endurance not be a strained resistance, but a continued abiding in love. Guard me from bitterness, from allowing disappointment to harden my heart. Grant me refined strength, a strength that is quiet yet steadfast, enabling me to do what is right even when no one notices, to keep loving even when misunderstood, to keep trusting even when results are not yet visible. Lord, remind me each day that my worth is not found in what I can do, but in the fact that I belong to you. Walk with me and bring to completion what you have begun within me, so that I may step into the new season not trembling, but standing firm in peace. Lord, I bring my children before you. I confess that there are evenings when I look at them and my heart grows heavy in ways I cannot easily name. I have sown seeds of faith in them through quiet prayers, through the stories I have told, through a life I have tried to live with integrity. Yet there are times when they seem indifferent, busy, closed off, and I begin to wonder, have I done something wrong, Lord? Please comfort me and keep me from drawing hasty conclusions. Help me understand that a child's journey of faith does not move in a straight line, and that silence is not always loss. Teach me to be patient as you are patient. Help me create a safe space for their hearts, rather than trying to control those hearts. Guard my words so that they are always gracious. As Scripture reminds us, let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt. Colossians 4:6. Keep me from speaking harshly when I am weary, and if there are moments when I speak out of turn, grant me the humility to apologize, so that my children may learn that true love leaves room for repentance and repair. Lord, reach my children in ways I cannot see. Awaken within them the seeds that have been planted, and bring back to life the good that once took root. Grant our family an atmosphere of dialogue, respect, and mercy, so that you may dwell among us without being forced. I trust that you love my children more than I ever could. Strengthen my heart to keep sowing in hope. Lord, I confess that there are days when my heart feels stretched tight, like a cord pulled for too long. The frustration that builds is not because I do not love, but because I have loved deeply, hoped intensely, and waited for so long. Today, I ask you to help me lay that burden down. I do not want anger to lead my love. I do not want my words to become blades that wound those I love most. Teach me to remember that my children are not problems to be fixed, but lives you have entrusted to my care. Grant me wisdom to guide them not through pressure, but through faithful presence, not through control, but through a living example, not through harsh words, but through a heart that listens before it instructs. Help me lead my children to you through everyday life, when I pray in the kitchen, when I whisper thanks, when I apologize for my impatience, when I choose forgiveness instead of distance. Lord, keep me steadfast in prayer, not as a ritual, but as a relationship. Restore order in our home so that peace becomes the climate of our family. Strengthen me to stand firm according to your word. Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. 1 Corinthians 1:5-8. Restore laughter and joy, not because everything is perfect, but because hearts are being healed. Lord, I thank you for establishing a covenant with me not based on my perfection, but on your faithfulness. I confess that there are times when I still condemn myself for the past, for mistakes, for memories that fill me with shame. Today, teach me to trust in true forgiveness. Help me understand that you do not keep a record of what has been washed clean, and that you do not call me back to remain trapped in yesterday. You call me forward into freedom. Lord, help me tend the garden of my inner life. Uproot bitter complaints, dispel quiet doubts, and shut the door on mocking voices that erode faith. When weariness comes, teach me to call on you simply, without pretending to be strong. Grant me the gift of patience so that my emotions remain steady amid the waves, and keep me from reacting hastily out of fear. Lord, grant me wisdom to guard my mouth. Teach me when to be silent and when to speak words that heal. Place within me a grateful heart, for gratitude keeps me humble, and humility keeps me within the flow of grace. Fulfill your promise, I will give you a new heart, Ezekiel 3:6-6, so that I may love when it is hard, remain patient when discouragement comes easily, and trust you even when circumstances have not yet changed. Lord, I bring before you my sense of disappointment when things do not unfold along the path I had mapped out. I have worked hard, believing that doing what is right and doing enough would surely lead to results. Yet, I have encountered misunderstandings, conflicts, jealous glances, and obstacles beyond my strength. There have been moments when I wondered whether you were delaying, whether my prayers had been forgotten. Lord, have mercy on me in this weariness. Open my spiritual eyes so that I may see with the distance of truth, rather than through the lens of temporary exhaustion. Lord, please remind me that your blessing is not undone by upheaval. Help me move forward without looking back, without allowing the past to dictate new choices. Show me the burdens I am still carrying, the fears that once protected me but now restrain me, the attachments that no longer belong, the old memories that weigh down my steps. Grant me quiet courage to walk through what I fear, so that I may discover the courage you are nurturing within me. Lord, guard my heart from bitterness. Grant me refined strength to continue loving when I am misunderstood, to continue doing what is right when it goes unnoticed, to continue trusting when I have not yet seen the outcome. Allow me to receive your blessing in peace, so that what you give does not become a burden, but a source of joy. And when the appointed time comes, let me look back and understand that what seemed like delay was, in truth, preparation. Lord, I thank you for planting within me a steadfast strength, unloud, unshowy, yet firm like steel forged by fire. Keep me anchored in faithfulness. I confess that temptation often comes subtly, disguised as opportunity, quick solutions, or everyone does it. Deliver me from compromise. Guard me from deceit, from shortcuts that tear at my conscience. I do not want to win by losing myself. Lord, Teach me that true blessing does not come through schemes, but through faith. Grant me the courage to choose truth when falsehood appears convenient, to choose righteousness when injustice seems profitable, to choose patience when haste promises quick success. Warm my soul when the cold of doubt creeps in, and remind me of the times you were faithful, making a way when I saw none, protecting me from choices I believed were wise but were, in fact, traps. Lord, help me understand that faithfulness is revealed through small decisions, repeated each day. Faithfulness when no one rewards it. Faithfulness when immediate gain beckons. Faithfulness when I am weary and want to let go. Keep my hands clean, my words upright, and my heart whole. And when blessing comes, grant me the strength to carry it, the wisdom to steward it, and the humility to share it. I trust in your faithfulness, and I choose to be faithful in following you. Amen. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may build a strong and growing community of faith.